Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to whatever it is we do around here with whatever news happens to come across my table. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what I hope is going to be on my table soon, which is the RTX 30 series, because we got some more benchmarks coming out. We've seen Digital Foundry getting an exclusive first look where they were only able to give us percentage difference of the GPUs, where the 3080 was anywhere from 70 to 90% better than the 2080. And then following that, id Software was actually able to post benchmarks of Doom Eternal with the 3080 versus the 2080 Ti, and what we saw was really great results. And now we have another one of Ashes of the benchmark Singularity. That's what I'm trying to talk about. 4K ultra settings, I believe it is. Crazy is what Ashes of the Singularity calls it, with the RTX 3080, and the benchmark is quite good. As you can see here, it can do about 88 FPS at 4K at crazy settings, which Ashes of the Singularity was no joke. One of the very first DX12 games to come out. And you can see here, this is the comparison to the 2080 Ti and the 2080 Super. I believe, after I did my calculations, it's about 60% faster than the 2080 Super, about 30% faster than the 2080 Ti. But that, again, is just in one game. How about you get satisfied with an entire suite of CUDA and OpenCL benchmarks where the RTX 3080 can perform up to 203% faster than the 2080 Super, but averaging right around 68% faster than the 2080 Super, 38% faster than the 2080 Ti. And so one would reason that it is insanely faster than the 2080. Double, some would say. It actually, as we're continuing to get more benchmarks out of Nvidia, it looks like the 3080 might actually be as good as they're saying it is, which is just mind-blowing. At $700, sure, it took us 2 years to get here, but doubling performance every 2 years, while it's not quite like what you expect from Moore's Law, it's good enough to keep me happy and keep all my video games played. Which, in case you're looking to pick up an RTX 3080, it appears that Best Buy has dropped their coming soon page. You can't pre-order or anything like that. They are showing that you can pick it up on the 17th. So in case you wanted that, Best Buy is the place to go. Where are you going to be buying your RTX 30 series? Let me know down in the comments. Are you going to be buying third party? You're going to be buying Founders Edition? You're going to be buying from Nvidia's website, Amazon, Newegg, Micro Center? Keen to hear where you guys are picking up your cards. But that's not the only RTX 30 series news we got, my friends. No, EVGA coming out with a video showing their precision overclocking tool that they had. And in this video, they indeed show that the RTX 3090 can hit a delicious clock speed of 2,100 megahertz, which is just, it's going to be mind-blowingly fast. I can't even fathom the performance we're going to get on 3090. Sure, it's going to be $1,500. Yes, it's the Titan replacement, but it's going to be a good one. Speaking of a good one, this might be the one that a lot of people want to see, which is the RTX 3060 or Super or Ti. The naming schemes are getting really weird, but specs of the RTX 3060 does appear to be quite good with 4,864 CUDA cores, which is about 1,000 less than the RTX 3070, and seems like it would be with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, kind of like the RTX 2060 Super, which is highly intriguing. This coming in at a price point of $399 would put us in a really good place. There's also the leak, as you can see here, of a 3070 Ti still coming out with 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Odd, because the other 3070 Ti leak that we saw was 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Super hard to say what leaks are legitimate and what aren't, especially since so many people got so many things wrong with regards to the launch of the 30 series. They just like absolutely decimated even the predictions that were coming out from the greatest fanfare that was happening beforehand. So wait until this comes out, but 3060 means slightly less than the 3070 at $400 could be really enjoyable. And speaking of enjoyable, Nvidia wants us to enjoy their software as well as their hardware, which is where DLSS 2.1 comes in. They announced this with the 30 series. Anyways, big thing is that now it has native 8K support, of course, because it's on HDMI 2.1, as well as VR compatibility. So that could potentially mean that you could get higher frame rates in VR while rendering a lower resolution. This might actually be able to solve some of the hardware needs of VR if they can roll this out to much cheaper cards. So like something like a GTX 1650 replacement, but has tensor cores, that could work really well. So I'm keen to see where this goes. hopefully it comes out sooner on lower end cards. Probably early next year is when we can expect that. But they're going to also be rolling out ray tracing to a whole bunch of different other things. The RTX GI stands for Global Illumination SDK, software developer kit 1.1 got released, and now it has Unreal Engine support, with Unreal Engine posting this update which shows that RTX Global Illumination is now supported in UE4. Presumably that'll also transfer over to UE5, so it could get more adoption as that goes on. Speaking of adoption, Nvidia wants us to adopt the tools that they have for testing all of their hardware. They sent out reviewer kits to certain YouTubers and press publications with their LDAT and PCAT testing, which stands for Latency and Display Analysis Tool and Power Capture Analysis Tools. The LDAT is used to measure total system latency. So from the time you click your mouse button till the time you see something on a screen. The Power Capture Analysis Tool is used to measure the amount of power that a GPU is drawing, and it does it very decently. And so there's several videos dropped on this, several articles dropped on this. Linus had one. Steve over at Gamers Nexus talked about how they're going to be integrating the LDAT into all of their testing methodology. So we'll leave links for all of that down below. But for reviewers, this actually is kind of a game changer. No Nvidia trickery, and it seems like it works on any GPU in a beautiful way. So it's just kind of cool that they're releasing it only to select reviewers right now, but hopefully someday soon, even us lowly plebs down here at the crust can get one. Speaking of crust, China's deciding that they want to leave the crust, go into the stratosphere, go into orbit, and then come back down. Apparently, according to them, they have landed a spacecraft after 2 days of flight. This is their secret rocket project with a reusable spacecraft. This is coming out from Chinese state-run media, so it's hard to say what's going on, especially when a video came out just a couple days ago showing that there was another rocket test that happened that ended up landing in a residential area. It doesn't seem like the rocket actually did very good. And when you see orange smoke like that, that's bad. That's bad. You run from that. So it's hard to say whether or not that's the same rocket that China's saying went up or down. I tried to do some research on it. It's like China's trying to keep everything really, really secretive. So it's all guesswork at this point. But China has a reusable rocket program, maybe? Well, Android has a program where they update it, and Android 11 is now officially out. So that's going to be on Pixel devices more than likely. So that's happening. It's out of public beta, now in a real operating system. It exists now. So let's talk about the other company that makes a phone operating system, Apple, because they are operating on the streets with the Subaru Impreza, as well as a trash can Mac Pro with 16 terabytes of storage in order to map the United States. They're driving around, storing it in the 16 terabytes in a 2013 Mac Pro, and then they're just shipping the SSDs back to the office to make sure that they got the maps. And Apple Maps doesn't drive you into a lake. No, you can't turn here. It's a lake. And you're probably going to get that notification on your watch, which Apple Watch Series 6 and potentially the new iPad is supposed to be announced at Apple's next launch event, which is September 15th, with them releasing all of the promotion for this, the Apple event at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But according to Bloomberg, they're indicating that this is only going to be for the iPad and Apple Watch, not for the next gen iPhone, which is going to be delayed until October. So you have to wait just a little bit more for the new iPhone with 120 hertz, hopefully, please. But we're not done with Apple, and Apple's not done with Epic Games. No, they're I don't know if it's a countersue, but they are seeking damages from Epic Games over the contract breach from Fortnite, saying that Epic's lawsuit is nothing more than them trying to get money. It's a quote right here: although Epic portrays itself as a modern corporate Robin Hood, in reality, it is a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that simply wants to pay nothing for the tremendous value it derives from the App Store. Apple also revealing that Epic has made more than $600 million from the App Store. Yeah, Apple's not taking this lying down. Okay, we'll see how this plays out. And we'll see how this plays out in front of our eyes, because researchers now have a 3.2 gigapixel photo. Holy crap. Insanely large. The camera is going to be installed in the Legacy Survey of Space and Time telescope in Chile. It's going to create the largest astronomical movie of all time, which, I mean, I guess Christopher Nolan can't have that for Interstellar the entire time. Anyways, it's going to be using 189 different sensors and then jam-packing them together to make the giant 3200 megapixel image. Whew. That's a big boy. And what's big on everybody's hearts right now is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity got announced. This is going to be a prequel to Breath of the Wild. This is going to be the hack and slash title, similar to Hyrule Warriors, which I believe came out before Breath of the Wild. Pretty sure, because that was a Wii U title, maybe? I don't know. Most people didn't play Hyrule Warriors, so then Breath of the Wild stirring them up. Now you have one that's set 100 years before Breath of the Wild to get people excited for the sequel that's coming out at some point in the future. And Microsoft in the future is apparently trying to bridge the gap between their Surface Go and Surface Pro devices, with them coming with a mid-tier Surface device that's supposed to have an i5, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, coming at the $500-$600 price point to kind of even that out. This is kind of where I really like the laptop sweet spot. The fact that they're using Intel bugs me. Ryzen 5 4500U, yes please, all day long. I'll take that. i5 makes me a little squeamish, but you know, to each his own, and to Xbox their own, because we talked about yesterday how about the Xbox Series S got announced from Microsoft directly. Well, they came out with this promotional video and released the release date, which is November 10th. We're also presuming that the Series X is going to release on the same date, but the big things to note is that it can do 1440p at up to 120 FPS. That's going to be last gen titles. That's not going to be a normal thing. 1080p at 120 is probably going to be more like it. It's only supposed to have a 4 teraflop GPU. I don't really expect that happening. Has all of the main features of the Series X: DirectX ray tracing, variable rate shading, variable refresh rate. This is an all digital model, so you can't actually use disks, and it has a 512 gig super fast SSD, which is going to be great for a lot of people. And what's going to be great for Tesla's competition is the fact that GM took a $2 billion, or I believe it's an 11% stake in the electric truck startup Nikola, which I haven't been hearing great things about, but it's kind of interesting that that GM decided to pick up $2 billion for the Badger. We'll have to see how this plays out, but instead of developing their own and kind of trying to keep up with the times, GM has decided better to buy another company and then try to do it ourselves. We'll see how this plays out. I'm keen to see where this goes, and I'm keen to see where my feet. I'm done standing up today, so that's going to be it from Hot News from me. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I love you guys. This has been a wild journey. You have a happy Wednesday, and I will get off my feet, and I'll see you in the next episode of Hot News. Bye.